Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today we are having a look at the Heat Control mod, which is being made by forum user NearT. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a pretty sizable selection of heat control parts to add on to the fairly lackluster selection that the stock game gives us. And it's a pretty impressive variety of different sizes and shapes of radiators to where you can help control the heat over a large chunk of your ship, all the way down to pinpointing one specific small part on your ship to make sure its heat is good. And I love that idea of having that much control over either a wide or small area with all these different parts, so it is pretty impressive indeed. So let's just jump right on into the vehicle assembly building and have a look at what all is a part of this mod. And we'll grab ourselves a Mark 1-2 command pod as well as a fuel tank, because some of these parts are rather large, so we'll need a bit larger of a canvas to actually show them off properly. And then rather than going to the search bar a custom tab, we're actually just going to go straight down to the thermal category here, as the stock game really doesn't give us many options in the way of thermal radiators. I mean, this just little selection here is all we have in stock, and the mod is adding these 3 up top and then these 10 at the bottom here. So a very nice little extra selection, and we'll start right up at the top here with the GR-1 high temperature heat radiator. Now this is an active radiator that will use 0.3 electric charge per second, but as you can see here by the stats, I'm not going to read through all of them because it is a fair amount of numbers here, but as you guys can just pause and read these if you so desire. For the 0.3 you will get a fairly decent amount of radiator protection, I guess is a interestingly odd way to put it. And if we pop it onto the ship here, you'll notice that it is sort of a collapsible panel style, but you'll notice I kind of have it slightly off-center. Technically, right there at that little point where my mouse is actually where it's connected to the ship at, and if we extend this, it's perfectly straight, going right down the middle, and that's because rather than collapsing like many of our other extendable radiators or solar panels do, this actually folds in on itself over to the side. So just something to keep in mind when you are building your ship. If you put this thing on here to where it looks centered like this, and you go to open it up, it's actually going to be off-kiltered to the side. So definitely just something to keep in mind with the aesthetic of this one. I kind of like it for that uniqueness to it, that it is off to the side rather than perfectly centered. But for some of you, it might trigger the OCD out there, but a very cool panel nonetheless. Now the next one we have is again another active radiator, a much smaller one though. If we just pop this on here, as you can see, and it requires 3 electric charge per minute, so it's, you know, a bit lower powered than this one, and is designed for a much smaller area. If we do extend this, you'll notice it basically just folds outwards, and really the only effective area being protected is going to be whatever's right there against it. A very small little panel, but overall a very good radiator, and again a very good texturing and modeling on this, which pretty much you should come to expect from the NearT mods. He always has very, very good parts. Now the next one we have is the GR-EXP high temperature heat radiator, which uses 0.8 electric charge per minute, which is not a whole lot. I mean, that was 3 per minute. This is 0.8 per minute. That one's 0.3 per second. So this one's definitely, you know, going to help you the most, I think. But this one, 0.8 per minute, very, very, shall we say, efficient. But again, a part designed to basically cool a small section / a specific part. Like, say you may throw one of these on top of a drill that you're using on a planet to make sure that that drill stays nice and cool. A very good option, say, for that. And yeah, just a nice, small, lovely little radiator. Now let's throw these ones off and go down to the big boys. Oh my, these first 2 are impressively large. This one, the VS1000 high temperature heat radiator, using again a 0.3 electric charge per second, is big. That's big. That's not collapsible either. That is the thing. That is your radiator. It does not move from its position. All you can do is turn it on or off so it's not using power, but it is a big chunky beast of a radiator, really good for helping out a much larger area of your ship. Now, we're actually going to have to zoom out for the next part because it's even bigger, and that's the VS3750 high temperature heat radiator using 0.9 electric charge per second. And, yeah, it's big, but absolutely beautiful. Look at the detailing on this. You got all this piping going through back and forth everywhere. It is very, very impressive, the look and feel of this thing, but again, freaking huge. And it again is another just completely solid giant radiator, so it might be a little bit tricky to get into space, but once it's there, it's gonna help a pretty sizable area of your ship keep down its heat control, so definitely one that you'd be using for more of that purpose. Very cool parts indeed. Now the next one we have is, again, active, and I'm actually gonna look through these real quick. I could have sworn there was at least one non-active, but it does indeed appear that all of these are active radiators requiring some electric charge. Okay, so that's interesting, no passive ones. So we do have the next one, the XR1500 high temperature heat radiator. Pop that baby on, and it is an extendable one. Ah, there we go, and I do like the animation on it. It kind of folds downward, pops up, and then collapses out. I do really like that animation. You guys know me, I'm a sucker for one, and I just love its very mechanical clicking nature that it has to it. Very, very cool indeed, and just overall a very nice radiator using 0.4 electric charge per second. Now the next one is the XR300, sort of its little brother, which uses 4.5 electric charge per minute. And if we pop that one there and extend it out, a much smaller thing, again, probably for use on a specific part rather than a larger section of the ship. And very nice. I do like the look of that little thing. Alright, so let's pop those into here. The next one we have is the XR3750, and this one uses 0.9 electric charge per minute, and is a fairly oh god, what's a good word? Stocky? Yeah, that seems like a right word for it. Stocky looking thing that can be extended out. Again, very good animation on it. I do like it. But again, a sort of collapsible style extender there. Very nice indeed. And overall, a very good little radiator. Let's pop that one off and move to the next one, which is more of a plate radiator like you'd get for one of these ones, or panel, rather, I guess that's a good way to put it. And it is the YC25 Ezekiel high temperature heat radiator, which uses 0.4 per minute and is designed to go along 1.25 diameter sort of parts. So if I actually try and put it on any of it, let's go grab a 1.5 meter tank real quick to slap this thing onto. That one? Yes, perfect. There we go. So as you can see, it fits quite nicely onto the curvature of that particular piece, and you can go all the way around by just adjusting your symmetry down here. Now the next one is for the 2.5 meter, another curved bit. Ooh, I forgot to mention on this one, the 1.25 meter curved uses 0.4 electric charge per minute. The 2.5 meter curved uses 0.8 per minute, and overall just a nice little thing. Again, you can activate or shut down the radiator on it. Very nice part. If we zoom in, got good detail on it. I do quite enjoy it. And yes, then we have another curved one, which is for the 3.75, which if we just pop on there, I mean, technically will fit over the 2.5, but with a lot of extra room over on the side there. But again, a very nice part and very useful for controlling a large chunk of your ship going all the way around. Very nice indeed. And then the final two parts we have is the YZ10 Phi high temperature radiator fin, which uses 0.2 per minute, and it's just a fin. See, there you go. Very tiny little thing, again useful for small localized heat control. and overall very nice and useful. And the next one is the Tau, which is again a fin, but just a bit larger of one. It's basically its big brother, and there we go. They fit together quite nicely, can work together in a very useful nature. I've actually had fun with this particular fin one with other mods that add things like nuclear reactors, just surrounding the reactor with these seems to work very nicely. So that's what I've been using them for. Now let's actually go out to the tracking station to look at a tremendously horrifying ship that I built earlier, again, just to show these things off on something out there in space. It's a complete travesty of a design, as per usual on here, because I typically make these ships in about 2 or 3 minutes, but nonetheless, it'll show these things in action. Oh god, and here we have those giant 3750 high temperature heat radiators there. This alone could probably cool this entire freaking ship, because it's just... look at it, it's basically the size of the ship, and I love that about it. It's just a huge, massive radiator that, frankly, really doesn't need to be that big, but it is, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And of course, we have all of our various extendable radiators out here that we can just pop out into its different places, which of course, they do look a little bit nicer when the animations are going a bit slower, which is always good. Now that one's just an active radiator. There we go. Extend that bad boy out. And I think the rest are... yeah, it's just different just different plate ones. So yeah, there we are. We have a variety of our different active heat radiators all around this thing. So no matter what, this space station's going to keep very, very cool no matter where it is. We could probably be a couple 100 meters from the sun, and with just these things, we'd be good. Don't try that at home, kids, though, because that probably actually wouldn't work. You'd need a hell of a lot more radiators to get that close to the sun. But you know what? With this pack, you could probably figure out a design with these things in particular. It's pretty impressive. But yes, that is the heat control mod by forum user NearT. If you'd like to give it a go for yourself, which I would definitely suggest that you go and do, you can take a look at the link in the description as usual. It is a very cool mod giving you a lot of new options for heat control of different kinds of radiators, and that is just a good thing. So that's going to be it for today, folks. I hope you all have enjoyed, and of course that you do come back for the next when we'll be looking at yet another wonderful mod. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.